We've been talking about how to help others worship. As we're going to see, it involves people, but also it involves the way that we serve and love each other, because the way that we serve is just as important as serving itself. I have been in churches and lots of situations with Christian people where there is a big project, where there is a big service coming up. And people get frustrated. People get angry with each other. It happens, right? And in the process, people might be mean. They talk behind someone else's back. They get angry. All of these jealous, all of these kinds of things happen in the course of the preparation for this big event, this service. The service happens. Things go really, really well. Maybe someone meets Jesus. Someone else has a revelation as far as what God is saying to them in their life. And it's amazing, right? We come back, we go, wow, that was amazing. As if all of the stuff that happened before the service was okay now because of what God did. And let's be honest, that was mostly the work of God, not us. And so we have this conflict that we don't always address. But it's important to remember that the way that we serve others is just as important as serving itself. How do we do that? Number one, we remember that loving someone else is a choice, but it's always the right choice. It might not be the easy choice, but it's always the right choice. Peter knew this, and this was a challenge in the early church. And so he writes in 1 Peter 1, "As obedient children, do not be conformed to the passions of your former ignorance, but as he who called you is holy, you also be holy in all your conduct." What is he talking about? It might be easy to think he's talking about really, really bad sins or other people. Later, he actually tells us in the passage, he's talking about anger. He's talking about deceit, not telling the truth. He's talking about hypocrisy, saying one thing and doing another. He's talking about envy, jealousy, and he's talking about slander and gossip. And he reminds us then later, now that you have purified yourselves by obeying the truth, so that you have sincere love for each other, love one another deeply from the heart. Because loving someone else is a choice, but it's always the right choice. Number two, never seek your own glory. It sounds obvious, right? But one of the ways that we love each other is by not focusing on ourselves. Psalm 115 takes this even further. It says, "Not to us, O Lord, not to us, but to your name give glory, for the sake of your steadfast love and your faithfulness." In other words, don't focus on yourself. Focus on the Lord, and then your natural tendency will be to focus on other people. Let's be honest, our tendency is to be selfish. Much of the sin in our lives is due to selfishness. Not to us, Lord, not to us, but to your name give the glory. And one of the ways that we do that is by serving each other. Because the way that we serve each other, the way that we do that in love, is just as important as serving itself.